If you're looking for a spacious, practical 7-seater family car with reliability that you can count on, and you've got a little bit under 100,000 ringgit to spend, well, I'm here to make your life a little bit more complicated. This is the new Toyota Veloz, launching today with prices starting at 95,000 ringgit with a 1.5 litre dual VVTi engine under the bonnet, a CVT gearbox in the middle, and plenty of space for people and things. Is this the new people mover that will reign supreme on Malaysian roads? My name is AIMAN ABDULLAH. This is Malaysian Motoring. This is our quick walk around of the new Toyota Veloz. Now, the Toyota Veloz arrives in Malaysia replacing the long-standing Toyota Avanza. So this is now the most affordable 7-seater that you can get with a Toyota badge up front. Now, under the skin, this car is based on the new DNGA platform, or Daihatsu New Global Architecture, which it shares with some other cars. And this car is locally assembled in Rawang. Now, anyway, the thing about the Veloz is that it looks markedly different from its brethren. So for starters, you have a very unique Toyota face with a downturned hexagonal grille with Y-shaped inserts. You have a prominent chrome bar that goes all the way across and even into the full LED headlights, which come with daytime running lights and adaptive driving beam. You also get LED markers just down here. Now, to add to the premiumness of this car, you get more chrome down here in the bumper and a little bit of contrasting colorway on the bottom. That's because this car actually rides a little bit higher with 190 millimeters of ground clearance, which Toyota says will allow you to traverse even the most difficult terrain that you will find on urban roads. Now, talking about the styling, we have to talk about the color. So for the Veloz, you can get them in a single tone color, as you can see with the red back there, but more importantly, you can also get it in a two-tone colorway like this black and blue, which is rather nice. And I quite like the fact that the chrome strip that we saw in the front continues all the way to the window line and all the way to the C-pillar. The eagle-eyed amongst you would also notice that the car runs on slightly different rolling stock. So we have 17-inch dual-tone alloy wheels with this nice sort of diamond turn machine finish on the front, wrapped in Toyo Proxus CR1 tires, which should promise good performance and decent amount of quietness and refinement. You also get a little bit more black sort of scuff plates all the way down the side, and there's a little bit of flaring here with a little bit of plastic that's gone across some of the bodywork and a slightly different bumper mold, which I think is very interesting. Now, at the back of the Veloz, it looks a little bit more familiar, but the devil is in the details. You have these T-shaped motifs down here in the corner to mirror what we saw on the front. You get a slightly more aggressive rear bumper treatment with a little bit more of that grey colorway that I mentioned earlier. And of course, how could I be remiss to not mention the light bar, which allows this car to be a lot more recognizable at night compared to some other 7-seater MPVs built in Rawang. Now, because it's a 7-seater MPV, there is 7 seats within the cabin. But compared to the Avanza that it replaces, we now get a lot more space behind the rear seats. So I know for a fact that you can put a week's worth of groceries, about 300 to 400 ringgits worth of stuff, back here with all 7 seats in place, making it a much more versatile vehicle. Now, could you put 7 people's worth of luggage back here? Probably not. But if you do need more space, you can just yank this tab, not that one, and you can fold these rear seats, and you will have a lot more space as a result. Now, this will certainly be more space than you'll ever need. It's certainly more space than I'll ever need. And it just underlines the practicality of Toyota's new Veloz. Now, more of this practical versatility can be seen inside, where you'll find more little refinements made to make your life a little bit more comfortable. Starting with the seats. So you get this part leather, part fabric upholstery, and it must be said this fabric is very, very soft. And the sponges underneath it feel very supportive even for me. You also get some soft touch material here ahead of the passenger with a little bit of Veloz badging here, plus some real stitching, which is quite nice. And this soft touch material extends here onto the center console and also here onto the door armrest, meaning that where you rest your arms is very comfortable. Unfortunately, this bit here is still rough plastic. Now, the interior colorway of this car is a bit different because instead of red and black, like another 7-seater MPV, this car gets black and this lighter grey, which helps to make the interior of this car feel a little bit more upmarket. And adding to that, of course, is this redesigned center console, on top of which lies the single zone climate control. Yes, I said climate control. So you actually have a temperature adjustment here and your fan adjustment here, which is now adjusted by temperature and not by the number of blue bars you have. You also get an electronic parking brake here, a wireless phone charger. This is unique to this car. And you also get, as you can see here, a little bit of interior ambient lighting. So it's just here, but it's kind of nice. Now the practicality still remains, so you still have pockets on either side of the center console. You still get a decently sized glove box with a 12-volt socket here, as long with the other 12-volt socket here, which is a USB, as I can feel. And you get a large bin here, and overall it just feels rather nice. The steering wheel also looks kind of familiar, but it's nice in the sense that it's leather wrapped and all the buttons fall very easily to hand. And in terms of finding the best driving position, you can, because you can now adjust this for reach and rake. Now, before I get a little bit too bothered with that, so under the bonnet you'll find a 1.5 litre dual VVTi engine mated to a D-CVT automatic gearbox, sending power to the front wheels. Now power is rated at about 106 horsepower and 138 newton meters of torque, which is the same as another MPV. And overall, this is about the package that you want for a car like this, because buyers of the Toyota Avanza, for example, appreciated the fact that it was robust, reliable and efficient. It was cheap to buy and it was cheap to run, and that should continue with this. But despite it maintaining those matters, it still feels a little bit more premium. And that extends to the back, where you'll see there is now improved legroom and improved headroom compared to the outgoing Avanza. And you have these nicely scalloped back seats, so even if you have to push this row all the way to the front, you still have a reasonable amount of knee room, and I can still tuck my feet in underneath the driver's seats, which is kind of nice. Now if I put this back, I'll be able to tell you about the cup holders that you have here, the more soft touch materials that you get on the door, another cup holder here, a couple of USB-A sockets down here, and you now get a center armrest which you can deploy from here, meaning that you can now sit even more comfortably, although this material is not quite as nice as the rest of it. That said though, it remains a practical family hauler, because in addition to the cups and bottle holders I mentioned earlier, you still get ISOFIX mounts on these seats, and because these seats are rather wide, it does mean it should be pretty easy for you to get a child seat into, and these doors also open quite a way, which means even for larger child seats it shouldn't be too hard for you to install. Now one area where the Veloz does a lot better than the Avanza is in terms of rear seat comfort, because not only are these seats better, but you now also get rear aircon vents with a blower control up here on the ceiling. Now I'm made to understand that there is actually a cooling coil in here, which means that the air blowing out of here will be a lot cooler. And because of the strength of this blower, it will also mean that third row passengers will be comfortable too. Now getting into the third row is also an area where the Veloz makes a leaped improvement over the Avanza. So for starters, getting in is a lot easier because it's just a one handle here that you pull and the seat tumbles away, which gives me a huge amount of space to get into the back. Now once I am back here, folding the seat back is as easy as pie. So now that this seat is set up in a position which would be comfortable for me in the second row, you can see that I still have a decent amount of knee room and a decent amount of headroom, and FYI, I am the national average. The only trouble is that while I can tuck my feet in underneath the seat in front of me, the seat base itself is not angled enough and it's not long enough to handle my knees. But if you're not a fully grown adult like I am, you should be quite comfortable back here, because not only do you have access to the aircon vents, you also get two cup holders on either side, these little pockets here by the window, and the window itself is a decent large size. And on this side, you have a 12-volt socket where you can stick in one of those little thingies for USB charging and so on, which means that children should be comfortable back here even on longer journeys. And the other thing that I appreciate is the fact that this car has been engineered to have concert seating. So basically every row of seats sits higher than the row in front of it. So the second row sits higher than the first row and the third row sits higher than the second row, which means even with this headrest in place, I still have a fantastic view out of the car, which means small children or even adults back here over shorter journeys will not feel car sick too easily. I do also appreciate the fact that all Toyota Veloz models will come as standard with tint, because it's nice to have tinted windows. Now, the new Toyota Veloz will be in showrooms across the country starting from today, with prices starting from 95,000 ringgit. That of course includes a 5-year warranty with unlimited mileage. Let us know what you think about Toyota's new Veloz. Do you like the way it looks? Do you like the way it drives? And more importantly, do you think this is a 7-seater MPV for you and your family? Let us know in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. Take care, stay safe, and happy Deepavali.